well. So, well, welcome back. Hopefully you had a good week. I saw some of the results. Some people did well, some people not so well, and sort of a variety, which is usually the case. As with anything, you get started, start to learn how it works, and have some success or some discouragement early on. It just depends. So hopefully after week one, you've learned that measuring food volumes can be quite interesting. A lot of people find that either they were eating more than they thought they were or less than they thought they were. And really until you start actually quantifying and measuring cups, you can't completely understand the volume of food that you're eating. So it helps you to realize just what volume of food is truly in a cup, and makes you pay attention to what you're eating. Usually your body and your mind react to eating less differently. In your mind, you feel like you're still feeding yourself, but you're actually paying attention to the volume, and
No.
often that results in hunger. All right, I'm going to mute everyone again. So hopefully you didn't feel like it was a starvation diet. If you felt that was a starvation diet, you probably are restricting too many cups. Certainly you should be feeling hungry if you're trying to lose weight. That's not unusual. In fact, that's, again, expected that you're going to be feeling some hunger because that means you're going to be burning off excess fat stores and hopefully losing weight. You hopefully paid attention to what you eat and drink because really one of the beauties of what we're doing is by paying attention to the volume of food we're eating, we're usually then by default paying attention to what we're putting in those cups. And so you're a little bit more deliberate about what you're eating rather than just eating somewhat mindlessly. Hopefully you've introduced a little bit more exercise or activity to your lifestyle. Again, it's not absolutely necessary, but the more exercise or activity you have, the more baseline cups you're, again, accounting for. So if you're active, it might be that you've been consuming more than what the calculation suggests. Or if you're fairly inactive, maybe your baseline is less than what the formula suggests. So you really have to titrate your food volume according to your activity level. Medical conditions such as thyroid disorders, diabetes, can cause you to burn calories faster if you're hyperthyroid, or slower if you're hypothyroid or have a low thyroid. And then finally, hopefully you did set an activity goal for yourself. As I mentioned last week, it's really important to try to set some goals for yourself, not just in weight loss or trying to make the scale read a smaller number, but really trying to get yourself more active and push yourself to do something more strenuous and challenge yourself. So if you did lose weight, the question is why did I or why did you lose weight? The first week can be the most profound. Again, if you really, if you go from someone who's 300 pounds eating on average 15 cups a day, and that person decides to just eat 8 cups per day, you're going to find that that's a pretty significant deficit, and you're going to lose a lot of weight early on. So that first week can be the most profound because if you have just a 4-cup deficit, that is often equal to about 1 or 2 pounds less in your GI tract or your digestive tract daily. And when you consider that it takes about 48 hours for food potentially to pass from your mouth to the toilet, that means you can have 2 days worth of food in your system. So if you consider a 4-cup deficit over 2 days, that means you have anywhere from 4 to 8 cups less in your GI tract, which can be the equivalent to anywhere from 1 to 4 pounds less in your GI tract. When you consider that 12 ounces or a cup and a half of water is approximately equal to 1 pound, that means, again, for every cup and a half less you have in your system, you're going to weigh a pound less. And so if you lost 4 or 5 pounds in this first week, that's a great start, but don't be overly encouraged because some of it is just from your GI contents. If you haven't lost any weight, again, don't be overly concerned. If you stick to the system, again, slowly your system will flush out, and you will be seeing the results. So the key is really to stick to the system, and you will make progress for sure. So if that sounds familiar, there's a reason why. This is sort of what many cleanses use, Metafast, certain supplements, and really sort of ProportionFit as well. That's the key that they're all counting on, when they're offering or advertising that you're going to be guaranteed to lose 5 pounds in the first week or 10 pounds in the first 2 weeks. It's because, again, they're just counting on you flushing out your GI tract. So again, if you drink diuretics or take pills that are diuretic and flush out your kidneys, and you become dehydrated, and then you're also drinking some cleanse that's flushing out your GI tract, so there's really nothing left in your GI tract, it's pretty easy to lose 5 or 10 pounds just by weight of your bowel and bladder. But really that's not what anyone is trying to do when they're talking about weight loss or trying to lose fat. They're trying to lose body weight, not just GI tracts and bladder content. So these things all bank on the fact that you're going to carry weight in your GI tract and your bladder, and you're going to purge that, and you're going to have what's looked at as weight loss on the scale. But again, it's not really the weight loss that we're looking for. So, so again, if you did lose a fair amount of weight in this first week, that's great, but don't be overly encouraged and don't ease up. If you didn't lose weight, don't be discouraged either, because a lot of times it just means your GI tract is a little slower, or of course, if you didn't follow the system appropriately, it means maybe you just didn't follow it appropriately. I know one person commented that they did great all week, but then sort of lost all the gains they made over the weekend. So that's the problem. That same extra cup or 2 or 3 or 4 that you didn't have in your system, if you put it back in your system over the course of the weekend, that means the scale is going to read a much higher number all of a sudden, and you're going to undo the progress that you made. So I added the slide based on a comment, I think it was from Camille, I can't remember, but talked about weighing in on a daily versus a weekly basis. Sorry, I'm going to unmute everyone again just to see. Sorry, I have to keep everyone muted just because there's too much background noise. But anyways, if you have any questions, just hit the chat box or unmute yourself. If you just click on the microphone, you can unmute yourself. But anyways, so weighing in, the question was, do you weigh in on a weekly basis? Do you weigh in on a daily basis, an hourly basis? Honestly, you do whatever you feel most comfortable with. Your weight is going to fluctuate based on your hydration status, based on what's in your bowel, based on the meal you just ate. There's so many things that can go into it. And I will tell you on a personal level that my weight can fluctuate by 4 pounds from day to day. I can weigh myself one day and weigh 201 pounds, then the next day weigh myself and weigh 197, and the next day be at 202. So it really can fluctuate just based on, again, hydration status, based on what's in your GI tract, etc. So again, don't be discouraged by those day-to-day changes. Look for the overall trends. And the problem with weighing yourself too closely and really celebrating on the gains day to day is that you often want to reward yourself for good behavior, and you often want to reward yourself with food. If you reward yourself with food, it will backfire 100% of the time. If you lose weight, you will sabotage yourself and put that weight right back on if you try to reward yourself with food. So I always tell people, reward yourself with more success. Reward success with more success. And so let the result be the reward in and of itself. Really, just encourage yourself to stick to the system. If you're having a good day or a good week, stick to it. If you're having a bad day or a bad week, stick to it. Because, again, the overall trend will be in the right direction. So just in review, again, make sure you have a good balanced diet. Ideally, again, 1/3 of your cups should be fruits and vegetables. 1/3 of your cups is probably a protein, and 1/3 of your cups can be fats and sort of mixed food items. Is probably the best way to look at it. But really, you have to make sure you get your fruits and vegetables in there. Those are going to be your lower calorie containing cups, and again, 1/3 of them should be fruits and vegetables. If you have 1/3 is meat and protein, those are going to be potentially your higher calorie cups, but that's, again, okay. Everything averages out. And then 1/3 of your calories can be from fats and other mixed foods, which, again, might be slightly higher in calorie counts, but again, don't worry about the calorie counts, just worry about those cups. And if you just stick to that general principle of counting the cups and making sure approximately 1/3 of the cups that you take in are fruits and vegetables, you're going to be in good shape. So don't forget to measure anything that contains calories, whether it's liquid or solid. Again, this makes you pay attention to the alcoholic beverages, makes you pay attention to the juices, the sugar-containing pops, or sodas that you drink. Because, again, without paying attention to those are sneaky calories that are going to get into your system, and you're not going to realize they're getting in unless you count them. Try to spread your meals and foods out as much as possible throughout the day. As I use an example in the book, it's like taking a log and burning it on a fire. If you take that log and chop it up into a lot of little pieces, it's going to burn more quickly, it's going to burn much more readily, whereas that big log, that same volume of wood thrown on the fire as a big log is going to take a very long time to burn, and it's going to stay on the fire for a long time. So same thing with our food. If we take it all in as one big solid chunk, it's going to be harder for our body to digest it. It's going to break it down and put it in the storage tank, so to speak. Whereas if you're eating little pieces throughout the day, spreading your meals out throughout the day, you're going to burn that more readily, more quickly, and your body's not going to convert that to storage. It's going to burn it up and use it right away. And then it's going to help you metabolize the stores that you do have. The other thing to remember is that weight loss phase is going to prepare you for a maintenance phase. If you're cutting out 4 or 6 or 2 cups from whatever your baseline is, once you reach your goal weight and you go then to the baseline for that goal weight, you're ultimately going to be eating more than you have been while you're losing weight. And so once you go to that level of maintenance, you're going to find that the food intake is very filling and sometimes feels like you're overeating at that point because you're used to a smaller volume of food. So the weight loss phase really prepares you for the maintenance phase once you get there, and it makes it very easy to stay in the maintenance level. Once you get to the weight you want to be at, you'll find it's much easier to get there and stay there, and then once your weight, if it starts to drift up from where you want to be, you realize how easy it is to just titrate down the cups that you're taking in. Because as is natural, once you reach your goal weight, if you've been there for a while, you might naturally start to overeat a little bit. But then again, you know how it works, you know the system, you know what to do to just make sure that your weight stays at a level that's appropriate and you don't let your weight get out of control. And again, don't forget that exercise is very important. It's not as critical as diet, but again, you really want to stick with it. Find some exercise that's going to be helpful for you to burn calories, something that you enjoy. And again, I don't think it's that critical, whether it's weight training, whether it's cardiovascular exercise, whether it's walking, whether it's doing jumping jacks, doing yoga. I think the key is just to move your body, get your heart rate up, get yourself breathing a little bit, sweat a little bit, and you're going to burn some calories. And the other key is to stick with it. Again, whether you're doing great or whether you're doing poorly, if you stick with it, I will tell you this has been borne out time and again through all the people that do the surveys and that I've coached either personally or have done it anonymously. If you look at the averages, everyone does very well. Everyone stays according to the plan. So again, if you stick with it, you will succeed. I have no question about that. So again, just to review these food volumes, hopefully again, these are becoming more ingrained in your mind about what one cup looks like, whether it's rice or a piece of pizza, what a 1.5 cup 4.5 inch sub looks like, which is again next to the soda can there. So again, you should be getting better at measuring those food volumes, and you should be finding that it's a little bit easier to measure those food volumes, maybe without actually measuring them, but just estimating what they are. So again, let's talk a little bit more about exercise. Exercise obviously is very important for your overall health. I would never want to tell someone to just lose weight by eating less and that's it. It is important to exercise. It's good for your overall cardiovascular health, and it's going to make you more fit overall. So I would say that there's no one exercise or activity that is really superior to others. The key is to get the heart rate elevated, get yourself fatigued, get yourself tired, and push your physical limits. Unless you push yourself, you're never going to know what your limits are. And so you want to push yourself to those limits and find them and keep pushing yourself, because those limits will keep on getting further and further away, and you'll find yourself stronger and stronger. As well as you lose weight, you'll find that your endurance and your ability to, again, to walk a mile, run a mile, whatever it may be, it's much easier. Finally, as you know, exercise alone is not going to allow you to lose weight. There's that natural feedback loop that occurs. As you exercise, your body is going to crave more calories, but then if you give your body more calories, you're going to not lose weight. You're going to sabotage yourself, and you're going to continue to maintain the weight you're at, if not even gain weight. So again, you have to fight the body urge, the bodily hunger urge that says to eat because you've exercised, and then you have to fight the mental urge to eat to reward yourself for the exercise you've done. There's a natural feeling of accomplishment after you've exercised. There's a natural feeling that you can allow yourself to eat a little bit more because you've exercised. But the reality is, again, if your goal is to lose weight, you can't allow yourself to succumb to that urge. So you really need to stick with the plan and only eat the cups that you're allowed. So hopefully as well you set some activities goals for yourself. Hopefully if you're trying to lose weight, you really don't want to have just the goal of, quote, lose weight. You want to have a goal to lose a certain amount of weight or to get to a certain weight. If you want to have a goal to exercise more, you need to not just have a goal of, quote, exercise more, end quote. You need a goal of exercising 2 days, 3 days, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, and for an hour each, half hour each, 2 hours each. Again, define very specific goals for yourself so that you can accomplish those goals. You need to make them as specific as possible. And again, if your goal is to, quote, eat better, end quote, you need to figure out what eat better means to you. Does it mean eating more fruits, more vegetables, avoiding certain foods, whatever it is? The more natural products you're taking in, the better. But again, you need to set some very specific goals for yourself. And for everyone, those goals are going to be different. So you really have to personalize those. So again, unless you have a plan and some goals, you will not succeed. You need something to strive for. You need a goal to try to achieve. Otherwise, you just cannot succeed. You cannot accomplish a goal that you haven't defined. So if you set goals, you will succeed. It gives you something to shoot for and something to go after. For exercise, really, there are multiple options out there. I did a simple boot camp workout, and I put it online, where basically you're just doing simple exercises for a minute each. It's 10 different exercises, each one lasting a minute, and it's just repeated through 3 cycles. So it's a half-hour workout. It's found at that address on YouTube. I'll email that to you all as well. But there are multiple others available. If you like to do, just work out on your own and look at workouts, go on YouTube, and there are hundreds, if not thousands, of options available of people demonstrating some simple boot camp workouts and that are really going to be helpful. So the bottom line is really just to move your body, get some sweat going, and get yourself fatigued, and you'll find that is going to be very much helpful. But again, I can't say it enough, do not reward yourself with food. I want to do that all the time. I'm sure you want to do it. It's a very natural reaction, and you just have to be very conscientious about not rewarding yourself with food. So if we look at the survey, this is a survey, the end of week 1 survey that many of you completed. If you didn't complete it, if you can go to that link I provided in the email, that'd be great. But here are the results. First question was, did you read the book? Second question is, how easy was it for you to follow the recommended cup allowances? Most people found it somewhat easy, had some difficulty, or found it very easy, or had a lot of difficulty. So again, pretty common response that we'd expect to see. How hungry did you feel? Most people felt either a little hungry or somewhat hungry or very hungry. Nobody felt not hungry, and as we discussed last week, if you're not feeling at all hungry, you're probably not doing it right. Again, you're overeating or you're eating too much. You need to adjust your cup count, because maybe, again, your baseline cup count is not accurate because of your activity or your metabolism. Maybe your baseline cup count is actually less than calculated, and you're overeating. So again, you need to pay attention to that. You should feel at least a little hungry, I would say, anytime you're trying to lose weight. How energetic have you felt? Usually we see people at about baseline to normal and on either side. On occasion, we'll find people that are much less energetic, but again, usually most people are around baseline to even more energetic. They find themselves sort of encouraged by the weight loss and encouraged by eating a little bit more healthily, that they're feeling a little bit more energetic. These are book ratings, which I'm not going to really get into. Those are more for my satisfaction, just to see how people are rating things, see if I can make adjustments to the book for edition number 2. So how are you using the ProportionFit diet to lose weight? Most people are subtracting anywhere from 1 to 6 cups daily, or eating to the weight they want to be. About 30% are eating to the weight they want to be. About 30% eating 4 cups or subtracting 4 cups from their baseline. I find that, again, to be the most manageable for my own weight if I'm trying to lose weight, because, again, it gives you some measurable results without being too excessive. And then how much weight have you lost after 1 week? The weight loss varies anywhere from 8 pounds up to gained weight. We've had over the course of 34 people that have done this, we've had 2 people that have actually reported weight gain during the first week. How do I explain that? I'm not sure. Again, it's probably because we have slight miscalculation, maybe not quite following the program right. It's hard to say. We'll see with the upcoming surveys, week 2 and on, I ask people to rate how they're following the diet, and that helps to really delineate the results, and we'll see that next week with the results. Based on how well people follow the diet, we can break down the results and see how successful people are. And there's a pretty nice correlation between the people that follow it closely, losing weight, versus the ones that follow it sort of loosely or not very accurately, tend to not lose weight as much. They tend to still lose weight, but aren't nearly as successful as those that are following it closely. So you can see the by far the largest weight loss is at about just the simple 2-pound mark. On average, if you average all these numbers out, it ends up being between about the 3 and 4 pound mark total. So again, pretty good for a first week, up to 8 pounds to 0. So again, a pretty good spread, which is what we typically see. Biggest difficulty, which again continues throughout any weight loss program, is the self-motivation to stick with it, the fact that we're hungry, and that there are temptations all around me. I'm a sucker for anything free, and so if there are donuts or cookies or anything sitting on the break room table at work, I'm going to want to eat it. So again, that's the temptation all around me. And as well, we're used to filling up our plates and getting as much as we can, but again, you really have to fight that temptation and that urge. I like to always look at the comments here and see what other people have to say. So again, weekends are the toughest. You lose during the week, and then the weight went back up because the weekend's a little bit tougher. Vacations are tough. Eating out with friends with a table of pizza, onion rings, and beer, that's a big challenge right there. So other people say it's the easiest diet to follow, and breaking old habits, and then eating the cups that they're allowed. So again, interesting to look at those comments, and I believe those are available online as well. I'm just going to unmute real quick here. Anyone have any questions or comments or anything they want to see or break down specifically about the survey? All right, we'll keep on forging ahead here. So again, in week 1, hopefully we learned that measuring volume can be interesting. We're often pretty bad at measuring or estimating volumes until we actually do it. And so until you break out the measuring cup or start really looking at things side by side with a 12-ounce pop can, it's really hard to know what the volume of food is that we're dealing with. So it's really important to measure everything that enters our mouth if it has a calorie count. And so the only way we're going to really stick to the system is measuring everything that goes in. It keeps you also from having those little innocuous snacks throughout the course of the day, the 3 M&Ms that are sitting on the countertop, or the Oreo cookie, things like that you might eat otherwise. If you're really paying attention to the system, you're not going to allow yourself just to throw those snacks in your mouth because, again, it's very hard to quantify those, and those are the ones that ultimately get you in the end, those sort of mindless calories and food volumes that we're putting in our mouths. So hopefully you are paying attention to what you eat and drink. If you didn't before, you probably do now. Again, don't forget that more exercise and activity is going to allow your baseline cup number to go a little bit higher. Again, not that you want to give yourself then more food to take in. It's just going to help you to burn off calories quicker and more aggressively, as well as just more efficiently. So finally, set an activity goal for yourself. If you haven't done so already, set an activity goal for yourself to run, to walk, to bike, to swim, whatever it is. Find something to set a goal for yourself. Sign up for a 5K in a couple of months. Whatever it might be. Sign up for something. Find a group. Have some friends do it. Maybe I'll organize a little group run as I did last summer. So we'll find something to do if you don't find it yourself. So that's the end of my rambling on. Hopefully you guys have had a good week. Do you guys have any questions or comments for me? If you have a microphone, just let me know. Or if you want to type something in the chat box, feel free to do that. The next meeting will be in 2 weeks. If you guys have any, I'll send out emails usually at least twice a week just to check in with people, make sure everyone's doing okay. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Yeah, so Jeanette there mentioning, yep, I fell into the trap where you do great all week and then reward yourself with extra food. And again, that's very common, especially going into the weekend. You do really well, um, you do really well all week, and then the weekend comes along, and you feel good about yourself because on Friday your weight is great, and then by Monday morning you've sort of undone the progress that you've made. But the key is again just to understand how that volume of food really affects your weight, and how simple it is and how easy it is to gain weight, but also how relatively simple it is to lose weight. So again, try to always reward yourself with more of the same, more success. Let those end results be that reward.
I don't think it's very easy to lose weight.
You don't?
Nope.
So have you had any luck? How much weight have you lost, or have you not lost any?
5.
5 pounds. And how many cups are you taking in?
I think it's about anywhere between 4 and 5.
You're only eating 4 or 5 cups per day?
Yeah, right.
Okay, and over what time period have you lost those 5 pounds?
5 days.
Well, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, but it's not an easy thing to
Right,
do.
well.
It's much easier to gain weight.
Right, oh yeah. I wouldn't disagree with that comment. Absolutely. It's much easier to gain weight. I can be an expert at that. That'd be an easy book to write. I can run a weight gaining group very easily.
I joined with you.
Well, thanks for the comment, Camille. Hopefully you guys will all stick with it. And as well, some people had mentioned before that they had some other friends that maybe want to join the group. They're certainly welcome to join. Just have them contact me, and I'll add them to the group if they want to jump on board, or I'll start another group in the future. So usually I'll start a group about once a month or once every other month.
Hey, Nick, it's Joyce.
Hey, Joyce. I thought you were going to disappoint me not have any comments here.
No. I actually was just going to say, so last week I started out, I'm doing like about roughly 6 cups is what I'm trying to stay at eating. And I mean, it's been a little bit difficult some days, worse than others. And as far as, I wouldn't say that I'm actually measuring everything exact. I'm just trying to guesstimate as to, like, looking at, I mean, I have looked at the book and kind of tried to go through, like a grilled cheese sandwich, how you have that's a cup, or, I'm kind of going with that. I can say that between Tuesday and Friday, I think it was, I had lost already 5.5 pounds. And then come the weekend, I avoided the scale because I knew I had been naughty and did not stick to it. So the weekend was extremely difficult, especially because, we did have neighbors get together, and I can say that I tried to make a smarter choice because, we did have some drinks, but instead of drinking what I would have normally drank, I drank like a diet drink with, a mixed, an alcohol in it or whatever. But so trying to stay on track with that, it is really hard as far as, and I know it's a life choice, but trying to incorporate your weekend with your week, it is very, very difficult. And I'm sure everybody else is probably finding the same thing. But I think during the week, I did pretty good. People brought stuff in to work, and, I had held a team meeting, and I had bought lunch for everyone and did pizzas, and I stuck with the little salad. I did really good there, and but then come the weekend, like I said, it's very difficult. Is there any suggestions as far as when you are having a social event, and as to what I know you say you can have beer and you can have pizza, but just know that that's really all you're going to do.
Right.
what I don't know. What are you doing
Well, I think it's
yourself?
yeah, and trust me, I have the same issues. I mean, I'm certainly far from perfect, and I have my weekends where I have to get back on track the next week. And so, there are a couple things to think about. Number one is if you're really good all week and you're actually succeeding at losing weight, and then you sort of overconsume on the weekend. The good news about that is a lot of times that increased weight you're seeing on the scale is more just what you've put in your GI tract. And so, again, not to talk about bowel movements and that, but eventually you flush that out. So,
Right.
so again, while the scale may not be really very encouraging, that's not exactly weight gain per se. And so little slip-ups for a day or two, things like that, you shouldn't, again, beat yourself up over. The other thing is, I think of it like, whether it's drinking alcohol, whether it's cigarette smoking, or whether it's food, a lot of us tend to be social animals. And so I think the key is not to do that grazing thing that so many of us do when we're in a social environment, whether it's at a party or out to dinner or whatever. You really do have to be careful just to commit yourself to, okay, this is my meal, or this is what I'm going to eat. I'm not going to mindlessly, be eating while I'm talking to people and doing, again, social things. You really just have to commit yourself to, okay, this is what I'm going to eat, or this is what I'm going to drink. Go in with a game plan and stick to that game plan. And again, no matter how many times I warn people, usually on the Thursday before the weekend, especially the first week, I say, you know what, be ready for the weekend. It's always the hardest one. The weekend's always hard because you do great during the week, and then it tends to, you let your guard down over the weekend. It's really, it's tough to do. So no matter how much you talk about it, how much you intend to do well, it's a challenge. And so I think the key is, number one, plan ahead, and number two, have a game plan. It's sort of like setting goals. Unless you really have a goal for yourself, you're just not going to have something to shoot for, and then it's just a matter of sticking to the goal. The hardest thing ultimately becomes that self-control, that self-discipline to really, put your plan into action.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I will wait. I will check the scale tomorrow.
Sounds good.
But thank you very
You
much.
bet. And Jeanette, you said, do you recommend splitting the cups into 3 meals a day or perhaps 4? I think, if you can split your cups into 4, during the day, that's great. I mean, if you're eating just only 4 cups per day, and you do 1 cup every 6 hours, that's great. If you can do that. If you're eating 6 cups per day, trying to do 1.5 cups, essentially 4 during the course of 4 different meals throughout the day, that's best. The more you can split up, the better. If you can split it up at least 4 times during the day, that's probably the best. And Camille shared a trick there. She says, gum. So if you want to say you can have a cup of green, I'm trying to read this. So gum. So Camille, it sounds like you're saying you have gum in your mouth, so that's one way to sort of get away from the habit of eating. And then if you're hungry and you want to eat something, Camille's saying have a cup of green beans, and that's her way to have her cup of food when she's hungry. And then ultimately, if green beans aren't something that's really satisfying, then you're going to turn down the green beans. So I think that's a good trick. Maybe have a go-to cup of whatever it is, whether it's green beans or spinach or cauliflower or broccoli or some vegetable cup is probably a good way to do it, and use that as your go-to snack, and make that your only go-to snack. And that way, if you're hungry and you need to eat something, you're going to eat that snack. Or if you're hungry and you just don't feel like eating that, you're going to force yourself not to eat, and you're going to wait for your next meal. So again, I think all those tricks are very helpful. Jeanette's entertained by that, and that's good. This is sort of fun doing this, trying to interpret people's messages and others that have microphones. Pat, send me a chat message if you want. I have to keep you muted because there's too much background noise there. Anyone else have any questions or comments? Sounds like we had sort of a mixed bag of success and I don't want to say failure, but not a lot of success. But again, that's common. I can't say it enough. Stick with it. Stick with it. I had one person who did this She was a fairly fit individual who really just didn't have much success in the first even 6 weeks. She lost maybe 3 pounds or something like that. And then she just contacted me about 2 weeks ago and said that ultimately she lost the 20 pounds she was trying to lose. It took her, let's see, how long did it take her? I mean, it took her 4 months or something like that. But again, she was only about 140 pounds to start with, I think. So, but again, everyone's going to lose weight at a different rate. But this is a great tool to do it, and you will definitely succeed if you stick to it. So, well, any other questions or commentary? Joyce, did you recruit any more of your friends to join us?
You know, uh, I have, I'm surprised. I look on and I don't see people on, so that discourages me, but I do know that people are telling me that they're still going to join, and I've told them it's still not too late, and that you do have the recorded videos that you've sent, so
Right.
to catch up on it that way.
Yep.
But I am still promoting it for sure, because I think it is a good thing, and it's obvious if you do follow the book, you do great. It's just when you try to go back to your old ways that you're going to fail every time, because
Right.
obviously you're there for a reason.
Yep. Well,
But yes, I am
I
recruiting.
appreciate that. No, I was just giving you a hard time because you're
I
being so
know.
helpful. So, no, like Pat said, it's a lot easier to gain weight than it is to lose weight, but it can be done in both directions. So, well, good. If you guys,
Yes.
if you don't have any other questions, we'll wrap up, and then again, the next meeting will be in 2 weeks. I'll send out email reminders, and if you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know.
Sounds good. Thank you
All
very
right, thanks,
much.
guys. Have a great weekend or week, and we'll
Thank
chat with
you.
a couple weeks. All right, bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.